They're a high maintenance animal, and when they're active, holy shit, are they active. Like they are, they are a little whirling dervish of madness. And they're not cuddly most of the time. If they're cuddly, there's probably something wrong. Usually, they're either super sleepy or they're having an insulinoma crash. Like I picked up Loki the other day. Shay handed me Loki, and Shay was like, Loki looks kind of sleepy. And I was like, we should check the blood glucose. And we ended up checking Loki, and Loki was having a crash. We didn't actually know that Loki had insulinoma. They always get monthly checks for all of their blood glucose levels, but Loki was down to 55, which means insulinoma. Straight up. Immediately administered everything we would do for Pred, and she's bounced back. She's just fine. It's normal shit. This happens with ferrets all the time. And I was like, that's not great. Let's check, right? And we do the alpha tract test really quick. You basically prick their paw pad. You put a little bit of blood on the alpha tract test, and you go, that's too low. Let's fix this. It's damn that's scary. It's how it works. Who doesn't know what insulinoma is? Who's never heard of this? Okay, so insulinoma is a type of cancer. Basically, you have the pancreas. The pancreas produces insulin. It produces insulin. The problem is, with most tumors, you'll get like a big tumor, and then you can like cut it off, or you can hit it with chemo or something like that, and you can get rid of it. You can't do this with insulinoma. Insulinoma is like sand in the pancreas. Little tiny dots all throughout the pancreas. They're microtumors. And because of that, you can't get them. And each of these little microtumors, as they fill up the pancreas like this, produces insulin. So what happens is they get a shitload of insulin production, and their blood glucose, their sugar levels, drop into the floor. It's reverse diabetes. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, so it's an overproduction of insulin. It's the opposite of like diabetes. It's overproduction of insulin. It means that they produce way too much, and then their blood glucose drops into the floor. And what ends up happening is they die from that because your organs need glucose to function. The brain needs glucose to function. So what you do is you counteract this with prednisolone. Pred is what is used for this, and that allows them to have higher blood glucose levels. The problem is Pred makes it so that heart disease gets worse. And usually when a ferret's the age that they're getting insulinoma, they usually have heart disease too. Welcome to genetics in ferrets in the United States. So then you have to play this game of like just enough Pred to keep them alive and not enough to make their heart stop. And you just kind of do this back and forth, and you're like, until they can't live anymore. And there's not really much you can do once they get both. Basically the killing blow. Like we know that is like they've got 3 to 6 months left on average. When you find out that they have both heart disease and insulinoma, you know that it is over, and it is just a matter of time, and it's just about making them comfortable because you can't do anything. If they're young enough, now this is something that happens pretty rarely, but sometimes when a ferret's 2 to 3 years old, sometimes they'll develop insulinoma, and this is a genetics thing. This is not like a diet or anything like that thing. It's a genetics thing. Sometimes they get it real early, and in those cases, you can perform surgery where you cut the pancreas in half, and you remove half the pancreas. So that way, as the tumors are filling up the other side of the pancreas, the amount of insulin production is just enough where it doesn't kill them, and it just means that you buy them a shitload more time. So you can actually cut a whole piece of it off and be like, you don't need that half because this half is overproducing anyway. And now like you basically have a full pancreas going on because you got half of one, but it's like really angry, right? And that's what they do. But you can't do it for the oldies ones because they likely wouldn't survive that, and their quality of life would just be awful in recovery for so long that it's just not worth it. So it's just like a thing. Can you live without a pancreas? No, you need that. You just want to have less of it in this. So this is one of the things that we have to deal with, which is like a whole normal thing in the rescue is like normal stuff with this. It's a very common thing among ferrets, but it's likely that Loki has insulinoma. She's got all the telltale signs of it. It makes me really sad because like Loki was my first ferret, and we got her with snails. So I know that when she goes, it's going to really mess me up. And it's been bothering me a lot lately. Don't ferrets have a small lifespan of 5 to 10 years? Yeah, and Loki's 7 now. So it's right around that time where insulinoma is like a given, adrenal is a given. It's how it goes. And like, I know that's how it is.